I guess that would help, wouldn't it? All right. So just as a reminder, we're going to be recording the meeting for training purposes, and we're going to be live streaming as well. Just to please sign into the chat box so we know, have an attendance list. That would be appreciated, please. So welcome DSOs, ADSOs, SOs, FSOs, district chiefs of staff, commodores, and distinguished guests to the all-hands meeting for the Secretary of Records branch of the W-Directorate. From the W-Directorate, it is our pleasure to have all of you here. My name is Doug Wilworth. I'm the Division Chief Administrative Support, responsible for Secretary of Records and Materials branches of the W-Directorate. And I would also like to introduce the rest of the W-Directorate SR national staff that hold everything together in this branch. So we have Branch Chief Christy Kinnaird and Branch Assistant Alan Padua, as they work hard every day to keep you up to date with the latest information and best tools to help you with your job. So at this point, I'd like to turn the program over to Miguel Minervini, and he's our W-Director for the introductions of any guest speakers.
You need to
You're
unmute.
muted, sir.
Thank you. Look, I just did a Doug. Okay, so start over. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miguel Minervini, and I am the Director of the Document and Administrative Directorate. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to today's Auxiliary All-Hands Secretary of Records meeting. I want to begin by thanking each and every one of you for being here and for the vital work you do to support our missions. As Secretary of Records, you are the silent force that keeps our communications precise, our documentation accurate, and our operations running smoothly. Your attention to detail and commitment to accountability are foundational to our success. Whether we're coordinating missions, maintaining readiness, or documenting our service to the public. This meeting is more than a check-in. It's an opportunity to align, exchange best practices, and ensure we are fully equipped to uphold the standards of professionalism that the Coast Guard Auxiliary is known for. As we review updates, discuss challenges, and look ahead, I encourage you all to bring your insights and questions to the table. Your voice matters, and collaboration is key to continuous improvement. We serve a mission greater than ourselves. Every report you finalize, every set of minutes you preserve, and every record you maintain supports that mission and strengthens the trust placed in us. Those of you joining us this evening via the YouTube live event link will have the opportunity to ask questions via live chat. Please hold your questions until we have come to the Q&A portion of this meeting, where I will be monitoring the questions and selecting those that we have the time to answer. So thank you again for your dedication, your precision, and your unwavering commitment. Let's have a productive meeting this evening so that we can all keep moving forward together. I would now like to introduce our guest speakers for this evening that are scheduled to be here this evening, who have graciously afforded some time from their busy schedules to speak at this event. Let me just let one more person in. Okay. With us, or hopefully with us this evening, we should have Commodore Mary Kirkwood, our National Commodore, Commodore Patrick Feary, our Vice National Commodore, Commodore Richard Mihilchik, the Assistant National Commodore for the Administrative Services Group, and our very own Terry Barth, the Deputy Assistant National Commodore for the Administrative Services Group. So let me just see, Commodore Kirkwood, are you with us this evening? Okay, moving on. Commodore Feary, are you with us this evening? Okay. They both had a NextCom meeting, so I'm hopeful they will pop in a little later on and be able to give us some insights. Commodore Mihilchik, are you with us this evening? Okay, and I know Terry's here, so Terry Barth, would you be able to unmute and say a few words? You still?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, Terry.
Very good. Well, first, I want to, as you did, thank everyone for showing up. This is the very first Secretary of Records meeting that we've live streamed, and hopefully, we'll be able to do more of that in the future. I think the main thing I would like as we're going through this meeting that I want everyone to keep in mind is when we're finished with this, especially for those of you that are new, the Secretary of Records, whether you're an FSO, SO, or DSO, remember to communicate. You know, that is so important. If you're unsure of something, ask. We have tons of people here that are here to help you. And then for our DSOs and SOs, remember, we need you not only to communicate with your staff, but to mentor them, support them, and help motivate them so that they can get through any of these new changes that they're undertaking. But with that, have a great meeting. I'm happy to be here, and you guys can take it away.
Thank you so much, Terry. I just saw Commodore Fury, our Vice National Commodore, joining us. Commodore Fury, would you like to say a few words?
Apologize for being late if I'm late, and hopefully NACO will be on shortly. We just got off another call. It's good to be here, and good evening, everyone. And thank you, Miguel, for inviting me.
No, thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. Did you have anything else to say before we move on?
No, not at this time.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm not shy. You know
that. Yes, I know that. Christy, I will now turn this over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're going to go through the ordeal of me sharing my screen and share. Okay. Please let me know if the screen doesn't change as I talk. I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. Welcome to the annual All Hands Secretary of Records meeting. The slides do have page numbers on the upper right-hand side. So if you have any questions and you want to reference them, we can take those questions later. Okay, you should see the next screen. Do you?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent news. All right. At least I unmuted myself. Okay. My name is Christy Kinnaird, and I'm the branch chief, Secretary of Records. And this is what the SR support chain of leadership and management looks like. Of course, all SRs assist their unit leadership when requested, but know that we are here as a resource to help guide all SRs in your role as Secretary of Records.
Christy, could
yes.
I interrupt you for one moment? Yes. Our National Commodore, Commodore Mary Kirkwood, just joined us, and I just want to give her an opportunity to say a few words before she has to drop off.
Okay, very good.
If you could stop sharing for a moment.
Well, I hid it. Can you make me stop sharing?
Yes.
It would be faster.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Commodore Kirkwood, would you like to say a few words?
Of course I would. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for coming tonight. It's good to see everybody. And this is our group that keeps it all together in the auxiliary. So thank you very much for what you're doing, and thank you to Miguel and his team for keeping it going. You know, the Secretary of Records is it's a very strong, very important position in the auxiliary. And it's not just the secretary. You know, you're not just the secretary, you're the Secretary of Records. It doesn't mean you just take minutes, right? You are the holder of the information. You are holding the records. And so with that, it's quite a responsibility. And I appreciate you all stepping forward and taking this position on. I know some of you have been doing it for years, and some of you might be relatively new to your positions. Certainly, the position has changed over the last few years. We now have a document procedure for where we store this information, which is vitally important. We have had some issues in the past where we have needed to put our hands on documents and nobody can find them because they were on Susie's laptop and she's no longer in the auxiliary. And so some of these things that we hold, we have to have documented and have to hold tightly in place. So thank you in your leadership roles and making sure that you're flotillas are doing this, and that your divisions are doing this, but it's very important that this document management is being followed. And with Terry and Miguel, you really have had this a good start in the last 2 years, and we're furthering it this year. But again, thank you for everything you do. And if you ever think that you're just the secretary, please rethink about your job, because you're not just the secretary. You are holding our valuable information. So thank you. Pat, did you want to say anything? Our Vice National Commodore?
I beat you to the meeting and I've already had the opportunity.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
I want to thank
Find
you
the
both.
email. Okay,
Thank you
sorry.
so much for your continued support of this directorate and for all the kind words that you have given to the Secretary of Records and also to our material officers. It truly means a lot when you have the full support of the top of the chain of leadership. So thank you both again. I am now going to turn this back over to Christy, and sorry, Christy, for the interruption.
I would stop any day for Mary Kirkwood, any day. Okay, so let's see, moving on. The W-Directorate's focus is the document and administrative side of the auxiliary. Our goal is to store all auxiliary legal documents in one central location. Meeting minutes are a legal document. So there are many benefits of standardizing and centralizing within the DMS, the document management system, and streamlining the meeting minute process. Thank you, Terry Barth, for this creation. Let me know if my screens are not changing, but I'm assuming they are. Before I walk through everything, I did want to mention my 3 favorite websites to use as the Secretary of Records. The W-Directorate, the website where we have our training materials for all the SRs. Aux Directory is an extremely valuable list generator, and the Auxiliary PDF Forms Warehouse, where all the auxiliary forms are kept. You will hear me reference them often. So our first quarter accomplishments include an up-to-date version of the Secretary of Records job description, the meeting minutes form that has been revised, and I will give you a sneak peek at some of the website updates that have been made and that some that are coming soon. We just want to make sure that we are providing the most up-to-date resources for you all as you're trying to navigate through your position. To those of you that are new, we do have a Secretary of Records information section located on the W-Directorate website. When you get a chance, please acquaint or reacquaint yourself with the tools that we provide. Just type in W-Directorate in your internet search bar and you'll find us. So we were challenged to write a more up-to-date job description for the Secretary of Records. We were able to do so in an all-in-one page for all 3 levels, the flotilla, division, and district. Every unit is unique, so the SR responsibilities do vary according to need. This job speaks in generalities. So it's on our website, so I encourage you to take a look. Within that job description, we do cover the requirement of submitting the Form 7000, which is the meeting minute form, the official meeting minute form, to the National Document Management System Storage, or the DMS. So every month, this should be the flow the meeting minutes form takes at every level in the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Of course, the meeting minutes are distributed to the unit membership, and once they're approved by the unit membership, the unit SR submits those approved minutes up the SR chain to be uploaded to the DMS. So let's say a flotilla had a meeting yesterday and approved their previous month's March minutes. The flotilla SR would then send those approved minutes up to the division SR. The division SR reviews those minutes for basic protocol. Then the division SR, along with their own minutes, sends everything up to the district SR, who uploads all flotillas, divisions that are in their district along with their district minutes. Since most of you do not have access to the DMS, I wanted to prove it does exist. This is a screenshot sample of what the document management system looks like. Each DSO and ADSO, the district folks, are only authorized to their individual district. Since we're using the national system for storing the meeting minutes for every flotilla, division, and district, as part of that initiative, it's important that the files are properly named to keep everything stored correctly and easy to find for future reference. So each SR officer must take responsibility for precisely naming their meeting minute files with this format. The MM at the end of the name stands for meeting minutes. If your unit holds an unplanned meeting or has more than 2 meetings during the same month, chances are those extra ones were special business meetings, and all you would do is just simply add an S and so on, as you can see from the slide, at the end of the file name. If you forget how to properly name your file, we have directions on how this should be done found on the W-Directorate website. So recently, it may have felt like we had a lot of revisions to the Form 7000, because we did. In a dream world, we would have had no revisions, or maybe 1 revision in a year. We were caught off guard by the mandates at the beginning of the year, and unfortunately, to be quickly compliant, we were not able to include all the changes required in that first revision. So from the email responses that I received from you all, and there were many, this was extremely frustrating, and we hear you. And it was frustrating for all SRs across the map. We are always open to ideas, to making the form the best it can be. And I am, believe it or not, I'm compiling a next list of suggestions that I've already received that will be reviewed by the W-Directorate later in the year. If changes are agreed upon, those changes to the form would take place at the earliest in January 2026. So I'm here to tell you, and please don't quote me, we're striving for no more revisions in 2025. To double check that you are using the most current version of the form, just take a look in the upper left-hand corner of the form for the version number. We are currently using 0325. My newness was showing when I communicated that the new revision of the form was available in the PDF warehouse. My apologies for not listing the updates that were made to the Form 7000. I should have. But here it is. Here's the overview of the changes our programmer made. Now I'm going to walk through that in a little more detail. All official auxiliary forms are located in the PDF Forms warehouse. So in February, our February revision, we made the form compliant by removing the diversity officers, and we split the form into 2 PDFs by offering just 1 version instead of 2 different versions of the form. So we had 1 version of the meeting minute form, and then the second PDF is, we split it, and that's where the instructions are. Both are located in the PDF warehouse. I recommend printing the instructions to the meeting minutes form. Keep them handy, as everything you need to know on how to complete the form is found in those instructions. In the March revision, we corrected some things. We added a district that we accidentally left off in the drop-down menu. And then in section 1, the unit officers present. This has been confusion about this section. So we added a phrase, a verbiage, because since this is not considered attendance, we added a phrase to help send that message along. And we also mentioned it in our revised instructions page. And in section 3 and 4, the field where we asked for the month and year, it now accepts numeric entries and in the month year format, and no longer accepts weird words. And we've seen those. And then in section 5, 6, 7, and 8, continued on page, box now only allows numeric values to reflect the page number. And in section 10, there was verbiage added to let the user know that if the form didn't have enough space for their minutes, that additional page can be attached, saved as a PDF and attached in the attach box on page 2 within the form. And this might be a good time to remind everybody that the number 1 item listed on our do's and don'ts page that's found on the W-Directorate website is that minutes are not a transcript. Minutes should be written in summary form. And finally, the last correction or update that we made to the minutes form is we corrected all the tool tips throughout the form. A tool tip is basically when you hover your cursor over a section and then it gives you direction on how to complete that section. So as I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek into the updates that to be made in the reference materials section, which is located in the W-Directorate website underneath Secretary of Records training tab. Oh, by the way, a quick shout out to Alan Padua. He's the Secretary of Records guru for tackling this time-consuming effort. Okay, this will be what the reference materials section will look like eventually. We added the Secretary of Records job description, and then 2 and 3 in this list, there are no changes. Number 4, instead of linking directly to individual forms because they weren't current anymore, we decided that we're going to provide one link directly to the PDF warehouse where all the auxiliary forms are, and then we're going to give you a list of the forms that exist there, and then you can find them. So that's our suggested list and for that. Number 5, the aux directory, we're adding this link to this valuable website because it's surprising how many SRs are unaware of this super helpful list generator, especially for email lists when an SR has to email out their meeting minutes. And then number 6, we also added the question and answers provided from the National Convention held last year. These are answers to district SR questions at that moment in time, answered by Chief Counsel Commodore Bruce Kelton. It's extremely helpful. And then to continue the reference material website updates, the roll call templates will be compliant. They're now compliant. These changes are coming soon. If they're not there already, we're constantly looking at it and updating things to keep things current for you all. Next on our to-do list, we are working through the how-to guides section in our website, where evaluating this is taking us a little longer than we initially thought. We should have these updates to the how-to guides done in the coming months. All right, the challenges. Those are our accomplishments. These are our challenges. And this is kind of for the unit leaders out there that might be watching. I've had unit leaders ask me, what can we do? How can we help? The first thing I usually suggest is to address any ghost units that you might have. A ghost unit is basically a unit that has been detached, disbanded, defunct, archived. If they show up in your district, they will continue to haunt you, and yes, pun intended, if you do not take care of archiving them properly. This particular list popped up on our radar as potential ghost units. If any of these units are in your district, they were probably not properly archived before you took office. So to the leadership on this call, if any of these units fall under your umbrella, please take note and make it your mission to take care of this. The DMS mirrors aux data 2, and the W-Directorate cannot make any changes to the DMS until the official national unit table is changed. So you're probably thinking, great, now what? So to eliminate flotillas and divisions that are truly no longer in existence, but still show up in the system, these are steps to take to remove those ghost units that are still in aux data 2. So if you may want to take a picture of the slide or rewatch the recording later, as this is the process we are suggesting to having these units officially removed. As more and more legal documents, not just meeting minutes and financial reports, are uploaded to the DMS, these ghost units will come back and truly haunt you over and over and over again unless you take care and clean this up. Since these are inactive units, they will show up in any national utilization report, and their consistent count of 0 uploads will negatively reflect on your district compliant percentages. So those ghost units are averaged into your active units. So please help your district and your SRs by cleaning up the units that no longer exist. The second thing that I usually suggest to the unit leaders who ask, how can I help? I typically ask them to take a look at how many units in their district that do not have an official SR listed. If they are not listed in Ox Data 2, that unit is missing out on important SR information or updates that includes meeting procedural changes, etc., which in turn sort of weakens how your flotilla or division operate. So, and we also discourage leadership from taking the meeting minutes themselves. So as they have, because you all have other things that you should be focusing on. So every unit is required to have an SR, and it is in the leadership's best interest to have that official SR or Secretary of Records listed in Ox Data 2. This chart tells us how many units do not have an official SR listed in your district. So please make a note of your district and stress to your unit leaders to take care of these vacancies as soon as possible. I'm sure that you've heard the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and this applies here. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and turn this over to our division chief, Doug Wilworth, who is going to talk about our goals.
All right, thanks, Christy. So it's ironic, Terry brought up the word communication. That's actually going to be one of my topics of my focus in my next, hopefully, 5 minutes or so. So my dissertation starts with Christy and Alan, and I have other jobs in the auxiliary, are also in the trenches with all of you, understanding the good, the bad, and the ugly. So each month in the DSO meetings and during a networking environment, we like to talk about some of the challenges and potential solutions. The Secretary of Records branch is where we can share ideas and help each other meet our objectives. And I believe that helps to make us successful. And as we make changes and create updates at the national level, this information should be communicated down through the appointed chain of leadership via your district staff officer or DSL. Communication is an exchange of information. This is a true definition by means of sending or receiving, and is extremely important in your job as a Secretary of Records. While receiving information during a meeting, you are the one documenting key discussions, decisions, and actions taken. This, of course, is eventually archived on the 7000 form and retained for 10 years in a repository, making your job extremely important in the auxiliary. Your interpretation and accuracy of the communicated information received is critical when it comes to the documentation of minutes. I always like to talk about goals. It doesn't matter if it's in business, personal, or the auxiliary. Setting goals provides direction, motivation, and a way to achieve desired success. A goal needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, and something that creates a path forward. If we don't have any goals, we will never move or advance in any direction. There are approximately 800 Secretary of Records officers in the auxiliary, and one of our goals from the national staff is to be in touch with everyone through good communication. This meeting is just one example that incorporates an opportunity for everyone across the country. Christy runs one heck of a monthly meeting for the DSOs and with some great interaction and discussion. So another good communication tool, it becomes another good communication tool, and we always hope that that information is passed down through the chain of appointed staff. Your upline staff member will be considered a resident expert for questions and education, and is a direct resource for concerns using the appointed chain of leadership management. Flotilla staff officers need to communicate to the division staff officers, and the division staff officers need to communicate to the district staff officers. And of course, the DSOs communicate to the national staff. And by means of sending and receiving, this information flows in both directions. So by now you've heard me talk about the word communication multiple times over the last couple of minutes. So folks, this is going to be the biggest and best tool in your toolbox of success. How many times have you heard they haven't answered my email? So you throw your hands in the air and give up? The answer to that is absolutely not. Go into the Aux directory that Christy just talked about, get their phone number and give them a call. I've done it. Trust me, it works. Phones have been around a lot longer than email and is a proven communication tool. You can also consider copying their leadership in your email communication when there is a non-response. That also works. You could also think about sending something through the mail. You know, we could talk about the Pony Express being a little bit older than the telephone, but that would be a totally different subject. So your role is very important to set an example and transfer information to the rest of your members. Please don't break the chain of communication and be sure to share your knowledge. Remember, knowledge is power. And again, as a reminder, your job is extremely important to the life of your unit. So as I wrap up here, I want to challenge each of you individually. So set one goal, make it realistic and attainable. At the very least, it should be measured quarterly. Keep working at achieving your goal with forward movement. Think outside of the box and don't be afraid to try something new. You might find that it actually works. Communicate, communicate, communicate. DSO, get your SOs together in a Zoom call. And SOs, get your FSOs together in a Zoom call as well. A little team bonding is a good thing. And then finally, my last point is I want to make sure everyone knows about a branch assistant position that is needed for our W-Directorate, and it's posted in the Help Wanted section of the website. We would encourage anyone interested to please apply. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Christy.
Okay, thank you. And share. Okay, so question and answers. I did get many of your questions have come my way. I will do my best to cover what I can, and then we'll sort of open it up after that for a little if we have time. So this is the step, and hopefully you're seeing the Adobe screen at this point. This step is, or not taking this step, is typically the #1 problem for SRs when completing the Form 7000 meeting minute form. Adobe Acrobat Reader is required for completing all auxiliary forms properly, not just the meeting minutes. All you need is the free version. So information and links on how to download the correct free version of Adobe is found on our W-Directorate website. You must have the correct software, Adobe Acrobat Reader, to use the Form 7000 effectively. It can be confusing because using PDF Preview or PDF Reader will cause issues. Like the PDF Reader is a powerful PDF solution like on your iPhone or iPad and the PDF Preview on Mac, but they're not compatible with the auxiliary forms. So to give you a visual, when you open the form Adobe Acrobat Reader, it will look like this. There is a 5-item toolbar, and the form looks clean and easy to read. A couple of clues that you're not using Adobe Acrobat Reader is that if you're not seeing that toolbar, the 5-item toolbar to the left, or your form looks like this. The majority of the emails that I got after sending out the revision were people saying that their forms looked like this. And that made me realize that they weren't not aware of using Adobe Acrobat Reader. So to use any of the auxiliary forms properly, you must download the form to your computer first, then open them up using Adobe, and then enter your information. Editing the form in other software or the web browser will cause the form to appear broken, and the form will function unexpectedly or not save at all. And man, that is super frustrating. A fun little tip that I want to draw your attention to is checking your unit minutes file before emailing it up the SR chain to be uploaded to the DMS. Searchable PDF files are required format for the DMS. Handwritten, scanned photos, which JPEG, are not acceptable formats of the minutes, and they cannot be uploaded to the DMS. To double check that you have completed the form properly, all you have to do is open the minutes with Adobe Acrobat Reader, and in the upper right-hand side, you can find, you click on Find Texture Tools, and you type a word that you know is within the minutes. And if that word is found, that tells you you saved the file correctly, and it is a searchable PDF. Searchable files are required format for the DMS, like I mentioned, as there are report features that the leadership can use. For instance, a district commodore may want to run a district report that shows when did a standing rule get voted on, or who held a SAR exercise within the last 2 years, and so on and so forth. All right, this slide, I'm breaking all kinds of rules because it's really, really busy, and I apologize. But every unit at every level must submit at least 12 sets of meeting minutes a year. That's every month, whether you had a meeting or not. So let's talk about the months when there's no quorum. In the situation where the meeting was not scheduled, or if the meeting was canceled, or a quorum was not established, at the minimum, the SR must complete the top portion of the Form 7000. When you get to the section where it says quorum present, you select no, and then you'll see that there's a drop-down menu that appears. Then you have to select the reason why there's no quorum. And the choices we have are low member attendance, leadership requirement was not met, no meeting was scheduled meeting was canceled. When you select the reason, that reason will display in red in the minutes section. Then on page 2, the SRs list their own name as the person who is submitting the minutes, the Form 7000, and the date, and that's it. You save the file, then you can email that form up the SR chain for no quorum meeting minutes, no quorum, can be uploaded to the DMS immediately because they do not require a membership approval. This question, I don't know, keeps coming up. On the Form 7000 in the top section, where it says total number of persons in attendance, there is confusion. Excuse me. It means everybody in the room during the meeting. So total number of persons includes auxiliaries, guests, presenters, potential members, anybody who has a pulse. That's the number that needs to be included in that field. Unit officers present. This section also, there's confusion, but unit officers present is informational only, and it is not considered attendance because it does not tell us the members' names. Any titles that are not found in section 1 list can be listed in section 2. For instance, recently, Rescue and Survival Systems Staff Officer was created. It will need to be typed in section 2, additional attendees present. This will need to be done until the next Form 7000 revision occurs, and we can get that added to the list of checkboxes. An attendance sheet, a roll call list with, at a minimum, should include all voting member names, must be included with the meeting minutes. So I don't know if that made sense because I read that weird, but an attendance sheet attendance sheet at a minimum should include all voting member names, and that needs to be included with the minutes. So a reminder, since all flotilla members can vote, all members in attendance must be included on that attendee list by name, not just the officers elected and appointed. There are 2 ways to include attendance with your minutes. Option 1, if there's room on the form, enter the attendance there, typically maybe on page 3 or 4 of the meeting minutes form. That's option 1. Option 2, if there's no room on the form, then you can attach an attendance sheet or a roll call list at the bottom of page 2 within the attach box in section 9. Now, please note that we provide roll call templates on our W-Directorate website if you need them. Okay, finance report. I need to say this because I just need to say this. The regular monthly financial report or balance sheet should be presented, and it does not require a vote. The monthly balance sheet file should be attached within the Form 7000 each month. Please remember, it is the Secretary of Record's responsibility to document what actually happens at the meeting. So if the monthly finance report was discussed at the meeting, you check the box. If it wasn't, you don't check the box. Now, if the finance report is attached within the meeting minutes, you check the box. If it's not, you don't. Ideally, both are checked. When it comes to, now I do need to say, when it comes to the unit's annual budget or any changes to the budget, that does require a vote, and it must be noted in the minutes. The budget report should be attached within the Form 7000 when it is voted on. I keep saying attached to the report, so let's talk about this. Let's say the Form 7000 did not provide enough space for all the meeting minutes information, or you need to attach a critical report to the minutes. This is a feature where you can attach additional files to the Form 7000, like the finance report or the attendance sheet if you need to. How to attach those additional files to the Form 7000 is found in those instructions for the meeting minutes that I told you need to print. And that file is located in the PDF warehouse. It can also be found on the W-Directorate website. To keep the meeting minutes file size down, do not attach pictures or videos, please. Okay. So we're attaching to attach a file to the Form 7000. You know that 5-item toolbar that I talked about. There it is to the left of my slide. You find that toolbar there, and then you select add a comment. Typically, it's the second icon. Might look different on your computer, but just go with me. Add a comment, and then in the comment pop-up, you'll find the phrase attach file, and you would click on that. Then your cursor will turn into like a push pin or a paper clip, and you move that cursor, your cursor, push pin, paper clip cursor to the attach box, and you click in the attach box to show where you want that attached file to go. And when you click there, it will open up a window, an add attachment window, and that will contain your computer's file directory, and then you'll select the file you wish to attach. It might be the attendance or the finance report or whatever. And then you click down number 6, you click the word open on PC, and you click select on Mac. And that's it. You're all done, and it is attached. If you hover your cursor over the paperclip icon or the pushpin icon, it will show you the name of the file that you've attached. This is the location of where the attendance list, like I mentioned, if needed, is attached, and the finance report is attached. And any member reviewing the meeting minutes can double click those icons, and the document will appear, and they will be able to view the document in its entirety. I believe I covered most of the questions that I received. I don't know if I didn't cover your question. I will do my best to research and get back to and get an answer to you right away. But at this point, I'm going to stop sharing to see if there's any additional questions
Okay.
from the room.
Christy, I have one question in the chat room. It says, how can I detach an attached file?
Great question. All you have to do, and Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, you right click it, and I believe there'll be a selection where you select delete, and then it will delete the push pin or paper clip. Is that correct, Alan? Alan's my Obi-Wan Kenobi. I always go to him to make sure I'm right. You unmute, Alan. You got to answer. I'm putting you on the spot. Or if anybody else can answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a Mac user, not a PC user, but so I don't know about the right clicking on a Mac, but on a PC, but on a Mac, you can just click on the one time on the paper clip or the pin, whichever one you get, and then hit your delete key and it's gone.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. All right. So you're showing off as a Mac user. Okay.
That's right.
Are there any other questions, Miguel?
Christy, you were right. It's on the other, if you're not on a Mac, you do right click right on the attachment, and then the option of delete is there. So you are absolutely correct.
Thank you.
Okay, here's one other question that we should have time to answer. If we have low attendance but still hold our meeting, should we still obtain approval for the minutes taken in the next flotilla meeting?
Okay, that's a great question.
Good question.
So when and I've been in meetings where we did not meet quorum, and then the business meeting couldn't take place, but there was information that was shared, and but no decisions were made. And the flotilla commander did want us to take notes and all that sort of stuff. But because it's a no quorum meeting, no, the answer is no. You do not need to vote to approve those minutes if there was no quorum in the previous month's meeting minutes.
Okay, and here's another one, actually two questions about the same thing. Do Zoom attendees are counted as present at the meeting?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they count in your attendance. Zoom attendees, they count.
So it's warm bodies and electronic bodies.
I guess so. When I said if they have a pulse in the room, I guess I should have. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a good point.
Okay, and I think that's all the time we have for right now. So let's move on.
Okay. So oh dear. All right, hold on. 1 second. This is the time where I'm trying to share it. Okay. During our DSO meeting, or typically during our monthly DSO meetings, this is when we have Bravo Zulu time. This is an opportunity for the DSOs and the ADSOs to thank someone and tell us why. So I am going to stop sharing, even though I've spent all that time trying to share this, because I like seeing people. And I can't see when I had that up. I'm going to start. So my Bravo Zulu is to Christy Parkhurst of Flotilla Cedar Creek Lake in my 8th coastal. For years, your dedication and consistency to your SR role does not go unnoticed. Thank you, Bravo Zulu, Christy Parkhurst. Anybody else have a Bravo Zulu?
I do.
Speak up.
My Bravo Zulu goes to Rebby Higgins in Division 6 for sending the meeting minutes promptly and correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
Christy?
Yes.
Donna Saunders from District 7, and I'm going to deviate just a smidge because we have 2 divisions within D7 that are 100% compliant with their submission of their minutes.
Fantastic.
And
that's a fantastic deviation. I like it. Yeah.
Now, I have to admit one of those divisions is mine.
Yeah.
I'm merciless. Let's put it that way. But the other one, Jose Elvar, and it's Division 12 in D7, and it's miraculous. Now we just have a few other dozen or so divisions to get on board, but it is possible, and we're extremely pleased with the performance from those divisions. So thank you.
That's awesome, Donna. Thank you so much. Anybody else have a Bravo Zulu?
Well, in addition to Donna's perfect, there's a few others in District 7 that are nearly practically perfect. Martin Jordan, Division 7, Tampa, St. Pete. Joyce Trutham, Division 9, Fort Myers. Donald Osiniak, Division 5, the Palm Beaches. Carl Peterson, Division 16, United States Virgin Islands. And William Carter, Division 12, Charleston. And I believe she said herself, Donna Saunders, Division 2, and Jose Alva, Division 4. We have 110 units. So to signal out 7 that are practically perfect in every way is really great. And there are others that are really close also. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but and for me, Donna herself has been a godsend for me. So
That's
thank
awesome.
you, Donna.
Very good. Thank you, Julie. Anyone else have a Bravo Zulu?
I have one. So for District 1 Northern, which for those who don't know, it's Rhode Island and North. So Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. I have 11 divisions, and besides mine, so I don't count. Like Donna, I don't count myself. I have one SOSR, Reed Osland from Division 11, who was 100% in his submissions.
That's fantastic. I love hearing 100%. That's awesome. Anyone else have a Bravo Zulu?
I do, Christy.
Yeah, go. Oh,
I have a
hello.
Bravo Zulu to Miguel and staff and all of you. This has come a long way, and it's not been an easy climb up the hill to get where you are. But I'm really impressed when I see the utilization reports, and I see people getting close to 50%. I see people in the 80s, and that's just testimony to everyone on this call's leadership, because that's what it takes. And it just seems to me that when we look at someone who percentage might not be as high as others, and you look into the detail, there's always one division or two divisions that just don't want to get with the game. And thank you for all of your perseverance and your resilience, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Any other Bravo Zulus?
Hi, Christy. This is Lori Alec, I'm ADSOSR D14. I would like to give a shout out to our Hawaiian Islands, American Samoa and Guam. As you know, we are separated by vast number of waters, and everyone has done a very good job trying to get in their 7,000s, and I'm still learning in the process. Granted, some may have been returned to attach the roll call sheets, but most of all, Flotilla 20 has always been very consistent. And Flotilla 14, Flotilla 10, Flotilla 8, that's Dave Wilson, Lila Mine, Scott Nearings, and of course my DSOSR, Susie Mann. She's amazing. She's also SOSR for Division 1 and also for Flotilla 14 FSOSR. So they have done a really good job. As you know, us being separated, you guys are all separated by land, us is really across the ocean and different time zones. They've done a really good job trying to get things in. As a matter of fact, coming up this summer, I will be holding a training for quite a bit of I saw that we have 4 SR positions that are opened. And so they are really open to me sharing the training that I get from you and from everyone. Doug, your advice on how to keep track and tap them and hound them in a very professional way to get it in has worked. And all your timelines that you shared. And so because of that, all the flotillas, and we have quite a many in D14, have started in some way to submit something to me. And so now it's my task of making sure it gets into the DMS. But anyway, that's my Bravo Zulu. So all of D14.
Oh, thank you, Lori. And thank you for being attending. I know this is a difficult time since I don't know what time it is there, but you're tomorrow or something, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
actually 10 o'clock in the morning here. I'm just right in the middle of my class. I took a little bit of leave. My
Oh.
students are right around me, but they're playing the quiet game.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thank you. Any other Bravo Zulus?
Christy,
Before
it's
we-
Doug. I want to.
Hello, Doug.
Hi. I want to nominate you with Bravo Zulu for putting this program together tonight. You have a lot of work behind us. I know what it took to get you to and a lot of the things that were put together. Having done this before earlier this year, I understand. And the time that you put in the background too, with coaching and teaching and phone calls. So Bravo Zulu to you.
Right back at you.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other Bravo Zulus before we move on? I don't want anybody to feel like they didn't have a chance to speak. Okay, hearing none, the closing remarks will be made by our director of the W-Directorate, Miguel Minervini.
Thank you, Christy. I have to say, I have to give a big shout out to my entire staff. It takes a lot to put a program like this together. Our goal is always to get the message down to the deck plate. So that's why having these all hands meetings that we try to do once a year is so important to us, because communication up the chain of leadership and down the chain of leadership is always a challenge. So it's always helpful when we're able to put these little type of meetings together so that everyone can feel informed and everyone can feel as part of the team. So again, Bravo Zulu to Doug, to Christy, to Alan, to everyone, each and every one of the DSOs that are now putting their 100% effort into getting with their division and flotilla members within their divisions to try and get the compliance percentage up as much as possible. So thank you for all of your efforts. Thank you for all the wonderful shout outs to all the division and flotilla SR officers. And I am humbled to be a part of this directorate, and I look forward to a great year. So thank you all. And if anyone has additional questions that they want to bring forward, my staff is always here to answer those questions for you. For the most part, please send your questions up the chain of leadership. But if you don't get a response within a reasonable amount of time, please, our branch assistants and branch chiefs are always here to answer your questions. So thank you all very much. And with that, I'm going to close the meeting for this evening. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for attending tonight.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.